everyone. I get to start it off today. Okay, so we are getting ready for the month of April, and so some of our great trips we have coming up in the month of April. We're going to the Garden Center in the casino on April 6th. On the 13th, we're going out to the Skokie Theater to see Something's Afoot. On the 20th, we're going to the Holocaust Museum and then out to lunch at the PETA Inn right after. And on the 27th, we're going to the Garfield Park Conservatory. In the month of April, we have a lot of great things coming up too, and so our theme of the month is fun and foolishness. And so for our first happy hour on April 7th, if all of you would like to have a little fun, we're having a caricature artist come in, and whoever would like can have their caricature drawn. If you don't know what a caricature is, it's a cartoony drawing of yourself. They're free. The artist is paid for. You can just come, first serve, and get your picture done. And then at the end of the month on the 21st, we are having our baseball happy hour once again once the White Sox and Cubs start playing. Also, some news about programming. Donna's Wine Club is going to be switching to every other month. She'll have her wine club this week for March, and then she'll be going every other month starting in May. So, sad news about that, but the good news is Eric and I are starting a beer club. So, yes, so if you want to try the beer club, Eric, who knows a lot more about beer than I do, he's going to pick a brewery in Chicago to focus on every other month, excuse me. And then some other news coming up that I know you will all be excited about. The Chicago Symphony Orchestra, they are starting their open rehearsals again. So they have 2 open rehearsals that we will be attending, one on Thursday, May 5th, and one on Thursday, June 16th. For both of those dates, we have both of our buses going for a total of 31 seats to the Chicago Symphony. And since those are on Thursdays, if you've been in the mailroom, there's already a sign out there, but we will be swapping our Thursday trips for Wednesday trips. So our normal Wednesday outings, that would be the CSO on Thursday, and our Thursday medical trips, grocery trips, etc. will be on Wednesday. Any questions about that part in particular? Okay. And so a part of that also, the CSO open rehearsals are free. You would just want to sign up as soon as we put it out on the bus because it does fill up quickly. And then while on the topic of bus trips, next Tuesday, April 5th, this coming Tuesday, there's also a sign in the mailroom by our sign-up sheet, but we would only be going to Weiss on Tuesday. There will be no other trips on Tuesday besides Weiss in the morning. 2 other topics I'd like to touch on is that we have our sign up out in the back of the showroom for our Passover Seder, which will be April 15th, for anybody that would like to sign up to attend the Seder. And then the last thing, the Chicago Metropolitan Symphony Orchestra. They are a wonderful symphony orchestra that is here in Chicago, and one of the members is actually the daughter of a resident here. So they have used our space here in the showroom twice now for open rehearsals. They're coming this Thursday to do it again, and then they'll be rehearsing here monthly. So wonderful opportunity here in the building to hear. There's 25 of them, so big orchestra right here in the showroom if you want to hear some classical music. Okay, any questions for me about programming transportation, Clarice?
I was just wondering about Easter, if there's a different arrangement on dining on Easter, do you know?
Yeah, Clarice asked about Easter, if there's going to be a different dining plan on Easter. And yes, there will be a dining brunch on Easter from 11 to 3. Okay, any other questions about programming, transportation, holidays? No? Okay. Oh, Ruth?
I used to once before, and is there any more that's come up about getting singing here again? It's not a choir, having the, community sing. They used to have the lady that missed all of
So Ruth asked if she's asked before and about having our sing-along group start up at the Breakers again. And so our previous sing-along instructor is not able to come back to the breakers, and we have been looking for a new sing-along instructor. There has been talk about just starting our own sing-along group, and if any resident wants to play the piano for that sing-along group, please come talk to me. But there is talk about just making our own books and having our own group meet on the weekends sometime, but they would really like to just have some piano music to accompany if anybody would like to. Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Roger, Director of Plant Operations. How's everybody doing this morning? Can everybody hear me back there? Okay. So spring's right around the corner, actually it's here already. We have some things coming up that we want to accomplish on the maintenance aspect, such as changing your filters in your units. So we're anticipating starting that sometime in May. We've also started to get questions, when are we going to turn over to air conditioning? That is a little bit too soon. So, you know, it's going to be play by weather kind of thing for us. So we anticipate late April, early May. That totally depends on the weather. With that being said, I'm going to go straight into questions. Anybody have questions for maintenance? Wow. Yes.
How seriously are the work orders taken?
Very seriously. There is an issue right now that we're trying to resolve with the work order system, and that's basically reviewing them and going through them and how fast we get to them. I know we still have some pending work orders for several of our residents here, so please be patient with us. We're trying to work through that. Yes.
Can you update us on the water situation? The hot water, like lack of hot water?
So the question was the update on the water situation and the lack of hot water. We just completed a whole house pump system installation March 8th, and subsequent to that we found some issues within other parts of the building. They have been addressed. We're finding out that we were running way too high of water pressure. We've adjusted accordingly, and with the nature of the building, the size of the building, the amount of residents that we have, it will be not uncommon to hear 3 to 4 minutes, maybe even longer, to get hot water, especially depending on the time of the day. For example, in the morning, if we have 350 plus residents waking up right around the same time, all demanding hot water, it's going to take a little bit of time to get to you. Yes?
The updraft in the garbage chute, has that been addressed? Any update on that?
She's asking about the updraft in the garbage chute. We have taken a look at what's causing that, and we're trying to rectify that issue. That mainly has to do with the amount of time the back door is open. So the air, it's creating a positive air pressure in the building that most of you have experienced when you open up the garbage chutes. Yes.
The elevator is so slow. I'm in 11 and 20 minutes to get an elevator.
I'm sorry, can
Elevators are slow.
Elevator.
So the elevators are slow. Yes, I have experienced that as well. So right now I have a conditional certificate here from the city of Chicago. We're 100% operable. We're just waiting for the elevator to come in and do some minor things, nothing mechanical. So we understand the frustration with the residents waiting for elevator times, because I go through it too. I'm pretty sure most of the staff does also. A lot of that has to do with the amount of people going to certain areas. I won't get too much into detail here, but if all of our residents can be mindful to where they're going, how they're getting there, and who's in the elevator with you. So if you know you're going to go to a higher floor, and somebody that you know is going to be on a floor right before you, I will let the resident that's going to go to a higher floor get in the rear cab, so that the flow would be a lot faster. Yes.
came down one of the elevators that goes to the basement, and, it was kind of bouncing up and down the whole way. So I don't know if that's, I don't know which number that is, but anyway, you know which ones go to the basement, so one of those two.
He's mentioning the cars, the elevators bouncing, going up and down. That could be the speed of the elevator, the lack of people in it, so. Yes,
As you know, I've been here for almost 8 years. I've never had this hot water problem. I left the apartment today at 11 o'clock, no hot water. This has gone on for 6 weeks. No hot water in the morning till 10 o'clock. Today is ocean.
so I'll review the work orders and we'll address it accordingly. I understand, I have seen your work order several times. We've gone up there, and we'll address it as needed per resident.
A lot of time is wasted with the elevators stopping on floors when there's no room for anybody to get in. I think one elevator at times has the heavy load working. The other elevators don't even have them available. We waste a lot of time stopping when there's no place to.
I'm going to speak on the elevators because the elevator conversation will keep us here all day, and it has been going on for about 36 years, and I don't have 36 years to kind of continue the conversation. We are right now in talks with our elevator company, and they're contracting engineers and doing a national search right now to find the right people to engage in these meetings to try to evaluate our archaic, because it's an antique, our antique elevator system and what our options are to make them more efficient. Exactly what you touched on, and I don't know what it could be. Whether it's assigned to certain floors, whether it's a heavy load capacity going express down, that's what they're going to do. They're going to put together options for us and say, this is option A, this is option B, and these are your choices, and this is how you can go about it, how much it costs. So this is going to be a pretty entailing process. This is a challenge for this community and has been for many years. Now, I don't know what has been attempted, but I can tell you now, the right people are involved. We're engaging the elevator companies, but in the process, we got to make sure we get the certificates. There's other things like water pumps that were very important. So there are many things going on, but that one is still not forgotten, and we're still working on it. And that's it on the elevators. Anything else for Roger that's not about the elevators?
I'm actually going to cut it a little bit short here. I'd like to introduce. Go ahead.
How about that gate out there that leads to the park? Are people able to get out with the key?
Yes, so the gate is operable.
For some.
Well, if you have an issue with your key, please present it to maintenance and we could look at the key and go out there and test it.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to introduce Pablo. He's our new maintenance technician. So he's going to say a couple words and welcome him to the Breakers.
Good morning. My name is Pablo Romo. Today is my second day working here. I got a wife, 2 kids, and 3 dogs. And I'm here ready to help with you guys. And thanks for having me. I think it's all I can say right now.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen, the Director of Sales and Marketing here at the Breakers. And I'm here with my brief but spectacular news, that's a borrow from something, about our new residents this month of March. 8 new residents are joining us this month. Isn't that great? I think 6 have already arrived and 2 yet at the end of this week. So as ever, and I will say one of the new residents who I met with the other day did say to me how friendly everybody has been and that she had been invited to sit and chat and get to know many of you already and what a pleasant experience her arrival had been. So, of course, you are fabulous people, and I would expect nothing less. So thank you. And I'll see you next month. Well, I can tell you, we already have 6 people marching toward us for next month. So let's see what the number ends up being in April. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Christina, the Director of Hospitality and Resident Services. I have a couple things on my list today. Resident data forms. Everyone was issued a resident data form to update for our records, and I'm still missing quite a few. If you have your resident data form, that's the emergency contact form, please return it to the front desk. If you don't have one and need a new one, the front desk has them and can give you one. Thank everyone who has come out for the School of Lifelong Learning. Yesterday we had Lincolnwood here. We did trivia right here in the showroom. It was a lot of fun. They had prizes. It was a good time. This Friday, the concierge nurse, Alex, will be here for a meet and greet right here in the showroom. So come on out on Friday and you can get to meet the nurse that concierge has on staff. On Monday, April 4th, we will have emergency preparedness right here in the showroom. Roger and Michelle will give a presentation on what emergency preparedness the staff has and what you will need to do if there's ever an incident within the building. And then each month coming up, we'll have more presentations by different groups here in the showroom, so please watch your buzz for that. There are sign-up sheets in the back along the wall for both Friday and Monday. Locker cleanup. If you finished cleaning out your locker and had everything organized, make sure that you put your name and apartment number on the white slip that's attached to your locker. We will start at the first full week of April, which I believe is April 4th, making sure that lockers that are not tagged are identified, and we'll contact those who have things in a locker that should not have. I still have a few masks, the KN95s. If you need a mask, I have several still in my office. Just a reminder that you should be wearing a mask anytime you're in a common space, including the elevators, suburbs, coffee and cookies, when you're not eating. Any questions?
When is the Friday, I haven't read it yet, the Friday, lifelong learning day?
Friday, the School of Lifelong Learning, that was added late. That's the nurse from concierge, Alex, that will be here in the showroom just for a meet and greet. And there'll be snacks.
Oh, there's no class?
No, it's just a meet and greet.
Okay, and what about the Monday class, the emergency?
Monday, there is a sign-up sheet for that, and that will be here in the showroom at 1 o'clock.
The potential second booster that they've announced is going to be happening sometime in the future. Will you be addressing that for us?
So Debbie's question is about the booster. There's another booster that's being floated in front of the CDC. I'm waiting to hear back from Dr. Iyengar in the lab to see when we can schedule that, but I am in communications about getting that done.
On the locker situation, that white sheet that was put in there, it's kind of a little flimsy on the end, but the main thing is it has the name and locker number, which I put in, and some other people did, and then, wait a minute, you wanted the unit number. So I wrote that in too. It has both things. But you may want to watch that, because if you have that filled out with the name and the locker number, I think the intent was to identify it. So, but usually there's other things on there with the name and the unit number too. So I just wanted to point that out to you, that if you were there and it was hard to write, and it does say locker number.
Okay.
On
So,
that little sheet.
so our question is about the white slip that's on the locker. Once we've identified all the lockers that have been marked, we're going to put a separate tag, almost like a luggage tag on there, that's going to have your name, apartment number, and phone number. In the event that, you move a floor or you leave the community, we'll be able to identify which is your locker. So yeah, the tags that are on there are kind of flimsy, but we are replacing them with.
But they also were confusing because I just was not translating. I was reading it and filling that part
contact you.
Because I noticed the other lockers had the locker number.
Yeah, we'll be able, as long as the name is on there, that's the most important thing.
Okay.
And then once we retag them, you're gonna see the tag is much more substantial than that slip of paper.
All right, well, I mean, that, I just wanted to make sure that those people who have filled it out with the locker number, we're not gonna have any problems.
No, no problems. Clarice?
There was a group that came and made a presentation, and I can't remember their name, but they talked about making visits for as short as 15 minutes, and it was for home health services, caregiver services. Are they on, are they available to us or not?
Yes, so Clarice's question is about the first presentation we had in March, which was Team Life Care. Yes, they are. They have several residents in the building that they have been servicing. If you need information regarding Team Life Care or concierge or any other home health care agency or assistance, give me a call, email me, and I will get the information out to you. But concierge is here on the 4th floor. Team Life is kind of on an as needed on-call basis. Any other questions?
You had mentioned that the doctors meet and greet would be rescheduled. Is that happening?
Not yet, but I will let everyone know as soon as the doctor's meet and greet is rescheduled. I'm working with him, with the vaccine clinics and everything coming. I'm trying to get him here for the whole thing.
Are we ever going to have a nurse here daily?
No. Any other questions?
When that nurse does start, what will be the scope of her capabilities?
We won't have a nurse. Oh, concierge? Oh, the concierge nurse? That would be a question to ask on Friday. Yeah, she is here. If that's what you're talking about, Judy, is the nurse. Yeah, concierge nurse, that's a question to ask concierge. They do have a nurse that is here, I'm not sure how many days, but concierge could answer those questions for sure on Friday. All right. Have a good day.
Hello everybody, I gotta see a new faces. Okay, you know who I am. My name is Antonio Ruiz. I'm the chef of the Breakers. This only I got something information with the next month. The brunch is April 17. You know, forgot the breakfast is start 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Okay. I'm working with Christina. I gotta show you what time is the memo for this day. The brunch is 11 to 3. I take more information, okay? What else? I think it's that for me. You have a question for me? Yes.
The Easter brunch is April 9th.
17. Easter. It's April 17. Breakfast is 7:30 to 9 o'clock.
I skipped a year.
You got it? Okay. Somebody else?
I'll never buy a 2-year calendar again.
Okay. Okay, the menu shot is for April 13, 12 to 1. Okay? It's the menu shot. Yes. It's in here. It's a showroom. Questions? The menu shot is April 13. April 13. For menu shot. Yes. No, it's menu shot. It's only question for the menus. Question for the what? Who's calling? It's only for the question for the menus.
Check, like, we'll get together. Oh, okay.
Somebody else?
Would it be possible to have someone proofread, read those menus? Because it's not uncommon that, something is listed and then you ask
Okay.
for it and it's not,
It's what I told you. The April 13, prepare your questions. I'll respond every question this day. Okay? Somebody else questions?
You're not answering them, so why should we answer?
Question for you? No? You want to talk something?
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. I just want to touch base about a few things. The dining room, you probably noticed for the past few weeks that the floor has been even more smoother than normal. Thanks for the new staff that we have on board, we were able to expand and open the suburbs pretty much for the past 2 weeks every day. So they kind of help out a lot with the flow. And I know some of you had to change the tables for the time being, and I appreciate your patience. And we're looking forward to have that open all the time. The main focus is still hiring in dining. We're gonna have a job fair pretty soon that is organized by Norman and Donna. Hopefully we will get more candidates and more hires. That way we don't in case we have a shortages or things like that, so we can recover from the dip that we had for the past several months. So Antonio touched base with the menu chat that will be on the 13th. So we will try to keep it every month, once a month. So looking forward to that. And that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any questions for me? Yes, Mary Lou.
There was something about the size of the menu, how much food was on the plate, and we were told last night that there was a kind of standard of nutrition that you have to have. The reason I'm asking this is because I always get too much food, and I'd like to be able to ask for a small serving, because if they give me a serving for a 250-pound man, it's too much food for me.
Antonio, I'll answer. I want to answer that question, and it's because I want to make sure all of you understand the answer, okay? And I apologize, Antonio, but I want to make sure they understand it. The question she has is about serving sizes in the dining room, and she doesn't feel like serving her too much food is wise because it's wasteful sometimes, and as I don't eat as much as I used to when I was more active and younger, but the challenge is, and Antonio, this is what he may have touched on with someone, there have been no changes to serving sizes. What's required by us as a senior living community is regulatory-wise. When we serve a meal, we have to serve so many ounces of a protein, we have to serve a starch, and we have to serve a vegetable. So what you're seeing is compliance with that. We have to serve a specific amount or at a minimum amount of starch, vegetable, and protein. So I apologize, and I do agree that it may be somewhat wasteful. The only advice I can give some of you is let the server know that you only, and they have to listen, that you only want half a portion, but it can only be done upon request. We can't take it upon ourselves to cut that portion in half or short. Yes, you should expect, if you request it in advance from your server, that you are served half the portion in just consideration of not being wasteful, but it can only be done at your request, okay? Does that answer your question? All right, sorry.
Any other questions? Lynn, you raised your hand?
Yeah, I'm annoyed, upset, tired of it all. Your staff needs to either be trained on how to clean tables and stuff like that, or how to do, I sit down 9 out of 10 times, I have to ask somebody to come over with a rag when the table's just been reset. The dishes are dirty, the silverware is dirty, there's still crumbs on the table from the last 6 people who were there. This is consistent non-work as far as I'm concerned. I'm a restaurant worker. I know how it should be, and this is not what it should be. I should not be seeing stuff, the placemats are filthy. Crumbs are still left on the placemats. It's a consistent thing, and it's either staff that doesn't pay attention or they don't care. Now, a lot of your staff aren't nice people, but that doesn't mean they do the job right.
So question I don't wanna keep too much of the time. Please have your questions also ready for the menu chat, so that way we don't get this meeting in the, wrong direction. Yeah, I agree, unfortunately, there's a handful of residents that they use, the linens to blow their noses, and I'm there monitoring them. I already talked with 3 or 4 of them at least, and it's an ongoing thing that I'm checking every day with them. And some of them are compliant, some of them, not always, but those napkins are removed completely from service. If we see that, if we catch it, they are not reused, they are not even rewashed, they are thrown out. So that's kind of, yes, go ahead.
Yes, I was wondering if on the same problem, can there be, paper napkins, cheap paper napkins supplied to not all the tables?
You can request it.
It's necessary, and that is a problem.
So the question is about the paper napkins. You know what, we can definitely have them there, and per resident request, we can provide them. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much, and again, get your questions together. We'll be meeting on the 13th, so we have more time to discuss each issue. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle, I'm the housekeeping manager. Hello, good morning. I'm Michelle, I'm the housekeeping manager. I've pretty much had the pleasure to meet most of you. Getting really familiar with the building, the schedules, and the staff, and the residents. I know a lot of you have asked for more communication, so if we do have a housekeeper or somebody that would usually be cleaning your apartment who's going on vacation, I'm trying to send out a memo to let everybody know ahead of time. And I'll do my best to have somebody fill in that spot as close to your time, your normal scheduled time as possible. The only other thing I really have is we do have our quarterly canine inspections coming up for pest control, so you will also be notified about that closer to that time. Anybody have any questions for me? Go ahead.
Okay, I seem to be the bad guy today. For quite a while now, I've been very disappointed, upset, angry with with the whole housekeeping thing. I talked to you right after you started here, and I haven't seen you since.
Okay. I apologize.
I never know when a housekeeper is coming. Even the list that gets to the desk, it can say they'll be there at 3 o'clock and they're there at 10 in the morning. All sorts of stuff like that. They do the kitchen and the bathroom floors with a dust mop. They don't wash the floors. Some of them don't wash anything. I'm extremely disappointed with the quality of the work that's done. They'll go in and vacuum the first half of the bedroom carpet, but won't walk around the bed and vacuum the other side of the bedroom by the windows. It's all sorts of incomplete, half-baked jobs that are done.
Okay, and I do remember speaking with you, and if you ever need to get a hold of me, please always, feel comfortable to reach out and give me a phone call. That is something, too, that I have spoke with the housekeepers about, is sometimes they are not where their schedule says they are supposed to be, and that works for everybody. It's communication, being where you're supposed to be. If I need to find them for something, or you need to know when they're going to be there, we should be where we're supposed to be. So it's something I have been on top of, and I have been trying to inspect some of the work that they have been doing. It is more of a light housekeeping, but from what you're saying, if it is, they're only vacuuming a quarter of the apartment, it's supposed to be the whole apartment. So that is something that I will look into even further and address if necessary.
Also, they use, at least the ones that I've had, they use the same water the whole day.
I spoke to another resident about that yesterday as well, and as far as I know, it does look like a dust mop because it is a white mop, but it is wet. So I will...
It is the only thing they use. Then if it's wet, they're not sweeping. So the dirt is still there. Now, I don't see any water on the floor when they finish.
Okay, if, maybe we can set something up, and I would love to come visit your apartment next time the housekeepers are there, so we can make sure that everything is getting taken care of accordingly.
Michelle?
Yes.
I would like to make a comment. I'm sorry about your problem, Lynn, but I love my housekeeper.
Well, I used to have a great one too.
Great job of what, and makes my, changes my linen, which is, to me, the best thing in the world.
It is for a lot of residents.
Yeah, and, I just don't want you to think that that's the case all the way around.
Oh, no, and with everything, and I do appreciate that. Oh, she had just said how much she enjoys her housekeeping services and that her bed linens are changed and she hasn't had any issues. Which I understand, this can go back and forth either way, but if there are issues, I want to address them and make sure that they're rectified. Go ahead.
Well, I seem to have good housekeeping too, or at least I don't have any complaints. Now, what I want to suggest is your system of the housekeeper things, where they have listed the units, and if you could have notes to it, that you get a system that shows that, so whoever the housekeeper is on that time, if there's a difference or vacation or something, the notes will be there about the unit, any unit concern, or any unit orders, specific, like the furniture, the wood furniture, you can't use the spray on it, just that kind of stuff. And that could also help with the timing too, because I was one time and then all of a sudden at a different time, but it's consistent, and I'm getting used to it. It was a little inconvenient, but okay, they get it done. And my place is still not completely moved in, so I still have stuff, on the floor, and we discussed it, and she vacuums as much as she can, but she can't get to where the stuff is, knowing it's stuff on the floor. And that's something that we understand too, and hopefully that'll be gone in a week, but.
Right.
So,
what Ms. Joanna was saying is that to have special notes kind of on different accommodations maybe the residents would have. Like, I know you have a cat. Some residents may say, I have a cat, please don't leave the door open. Stuff like that, that is on our schedules. That is given to the housekeepers daily.
But I noticed the sheets they have don't have it. In other words, those printout sheets, it should be on there with the unit number.
It is on there with some information. I may, there's stuff that I'm still updating and start getting used to, and, I definitely would like to make sure that there's something in there about everybody.
Yeah, more formalized, like the dog or the cat, so they know what's there. And like you said, don't leave the door open.
Right, we do have that on our schedules. There are some residents that have special requests, like, please don't mop this area, or please don't touch my furniture in this area. Kind of like you were saying, we've discussed a lot of like the new Wayfair furniture and furniture that is coming on the market now. They ask you not to use any chemicals, just a dry cloth. So stuff like that would be on the schedules so that wouldn't happen. Anybody else? All right, well, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Good morning. I'm Norm. I'm the executive director, and I'm just going to give you a quick update on a few things I had here. I'm going to start with the horse. I've been asked about 50 times about the horse. The horse, we didn't get rid of it. We didn't turn it into dog food. It's just been put away because we ordered polyurethane to treat and protect the horse. It's already chipping. Some of the paint from just the sun being out, wherever it's been all over. So we moved it because it couldn't stay where it was. So we have it put away in storage, and we're going to polyurethane it and treat it and protect it so it can last a while. Once we get the horse finished and polyurethane and protect it, we're going to find a nice location, and hopefully we even have an idea of spotlighting it now that you can put lights on things somehow. So it looks decent and it's representative of something nice, but it's protected so it can last 10 years, hopefully 15. So the horse is still around. He's just put away in the barn, and we're going to treat him a garden, I know Roger didn't touch on it, but it's one of his many projects right now, and he has, between him, Molly, the garden committee, a bunch of emails I saw, there's a lot for them to do besides filters, air conditioning, and other things, the garden and the third floor deck. It's a big job, and there's a lot of pieces, but they're working with the committee, and I forgot who, on making sure that they're labeled, that you have everything you need, Miracle Grow, all that. So they are working on that with the committee. I just want you to know. The front load washing machines, that's come up quite a bit. I don't even know how to explain it, but if you watch the news and you watch TV, you can tell what's going on. And it just happened to a resident who was trying to get some things done in their apartment, where they kept getting rescheduled, they kept getting rescheduled, they kept getting rescheduled for about 3-4 weeks out. And it's what you're seeing, the supply chain and the shipments and the lack of workers or truckers. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we have ordered 2 front load washing machines. For one of those machines, we could buy 4 of the other ones. So there are 2 coming. Those 2 will be placed, one will be placed on the 16th floor and one will be placed on the 24th floor. So you will have access to a front load washing machine, and we split them up, and we got more. There used to be only one, but we're going to split it up on 16 and 24. So those will be here as soon as they get here, they put them in. So we're waiting on those. The other one, it's someone that I've been talking to a lot, and I get it. Everyone needs a different type of seat to be comfortable. The laundry room doesn't have a seat with arms on it. And that for someone that's been very particular about it, they feel that it's necessary for them to be comfortable and be able to get up safely, they need a chair with arms. So we're getting some chairs with arms for the laundry rooms. That's 4 laundry rooms, same thing. They're en route, we get email updates about estimated deliveries, 2-3 weeks. So we're just waiting. As soon as they come, they'll go in the laundry room. You'll see it. There'll be a chair with arms in there. So if someone needs arms, for whatever reason, there is a chair with arms in the laundry room. That's something else that's coming. The School of Lifelong Learning. I've heard a lot about that. I've heard everything from why are they here? Why are we being talked to about hospice? What is this? And then I hear the other side of it, which is, do we have a nurse? Are we going to have a nurse? No. The School of Lifelong Learning was kind of triggered by a resident and a group of residents who needed more information to be comfortable. They asked a lot of questions about, well, what if? And when you're watching the news between hurricanes, nuclear bombs, and whatever else is going on, you're thinking, oh my God, what are we doing? Well, we do a lot. We do a lot. And the resident and these individuals felt like it was important to them that this information be shared. They wanted to know more. They wanted more. Well, our emergency preparedness binder, just on that piece alone, is a 3-inch red binder, this thick, that has a lot of information. Too much information, actually, for any of you. But in there are pieces of information that are important, such as fire. What do you do? If there's a fire in your apartment, if there's a fire outside of your apartment. What is the staff educated on? What is the training that we get, and what materials are available to us in case of a disaster? It's all there. Actually, we just went through an exercise the past 30 days where they all have gotten retraining on it, all of it. From fire, tornado, bomb threats, someone comes in the building with a weapon, that's just an armed intruder, it's called. We go through all those exercises. In there, we've extracted what's pertinent and necessary for you guys. One of those is keeping it simple, such as the sign on the back of your door. You guys have it? Some of you do, some of you don't. Just so you know, when we do the filters in May, we're going to be doing a few other things while we're there. We're going to be changing the filters, but we're also going to be looking at those laminated papers that are emergency instructions for the building on the back of the doors. You can take it down if you wish. It's your home, it's your apartment. But these are just a lot of little things we try to do to help people stay safe and informed and educated on what we do. But on the lifelong learning, it started with emergency preparedness. And talking to these guys in the group and Christina, and from some experience, it was just a great opportunity to feel like, another opportunity, because Kristen and I talk about it a lot. And I'll say it here. All of us are on the same train, hopefully on the same journey, just at a different station of life. All of us are at a different point in our life of independence. But we would all love to stay here and continue to be independent as long as we can. That's the gift that we can try to provide and support, right? However, to do that, we can't do it by ourselves. We can't. Legally, we can't. And we don't have those services. So what do? We partner with individuals. We find those institutions. We find those services and those organizations that we feel are legitimate, insured, and meet the standards of what we think you deserve. That being said, we've been very, very careful on who we partner with. We have a partner, which is Concierge. They're downstairs on the 4th floor. They can provide you with clinical supportive services. They can provide you with some things at home if you need it while you return from a hospital stay or just an episode of illness until you get back on your feet. But not everyone likes one choice, right? You have to have options. This one doesn't always, one shoe doesn't fit all. So we introduced another entity, which had some flexibility on the length of service, the kind of services. Same thing with the hospice. Someone asked recently, why would you bring the hospice? Why? Because you wouldn't know this, but there are individuals that choose to stay in the breakers and choose to stay in their apartment and in their home. And that's a right and a choice you should have. You may not be going down to the dining room. You may not go and drinking at happy hour anymore. That's okay with me. But if you have the means, you have the resources, you have these supportive services, the family engagement that you need, that's an option that you should have. And we want to make sure that we facilitate all those options. Because one of the hardest things we see and we work through is working with you guys and your families to try to figure out and navigate next steps. It doesn't always mean that you have to leave the breakers. None of us really want to leave. We love it here, and as much as we say whatever, we still would rather be here and navigate what we got and continue to do what we're doing here and not go elsewhere. So all these things we're introducing, they come from emergency preparedness, safety, well-being, health, introducing outside providers. It's just trying to help keep you informed and help you understand your options while you're here. You do, you have many. And if you have questions about all this, ask Christina. Ask Christina. She's been the facilitator of all these relationships and all these folks. The other factor is that if you work with one of the providers inside our network, whether it's one of the home care agencies or Lincolnwood or something like that, we talk to them all the time. We can better help you. We can better help your kids when they call us from another state and ask, hey, what's going on? My mom on Tuesday. If you're working with people we know in our circle, we talk to them all the time. When you start to work with other folks outside of that network or that system or the relationships we have, it's harder for us to get updates. It's harder for us to communicate with people that we don't have a relationship with. So it's all in an effort to streamline services that could help you at some point or navigate independent living as long as possible. That's the School of Lifelong Learning, and it covers a lot. Home health, hospice, emergency preparedness. I think they've done an unbelievable and fabulous job with it, and we're not going to stop there. We'll keep, if you have any ideas, or if you have thoughts on, I would love to learn more about this, and how does this work? Let's call somebody. Let's call somebody, whether it's Medicare or, the nursing home at the first 20 days of rehab. It's not if, when. Whatever you need information on, we don't have it all, but we know enough people, or we can find someone to come in, be a presenter, and speak with you on that topic. Okay? Questions about that real quick? Yes?
Not basically on that. I just wanted to say that I've been in the building about a year, and I'm very pleased with the way that it's handled and the services, I think, are extremely good. I do have one issue which is not under your control, but it's something that I think we need to address and be a part of. And that is, if you go on a walk outside in the park and go south a little bit, you will be in a tent village, okay, of people that you don't necessarily want to have dinner with. And I think that you, with the job that you have here, perhaps could consider going to some of the city council meetings, and some of the people that live around us, I've been in real estate 50 years, have homes that are in the $500, $1 million range and up. Once this establishes itself, it will move throughout that park out there. And we will have neighbors that we don't necessarily want, and will certainly not bring up the area.
Here's what he's sharing, that he's been okay, he's been here about a year, he's been happy, the services have helped him quite a bit, but he's struggling with something that's going on in the neighborhood. When you go out the gate and you go south on the lakefront, there's a group of homeless folks in these tents. That's concerning, and I don't know, I don't have the answers, and I'm so glad I'm not in politics. Well, I'm kind of like weird, it feels like it, but there's no answer to this, and I don't know what's going on over the last couple of years, because I travel and I go places in downtown, you see it too. Even where I live, out in DuPage County, you would never see this. There's been an increase, and it could be pandemic, it could be jobless, job loss, there's been an increase of homelessness in the country, and you see it everywhere. From experience, a lot of you that have been here a long time know how this works. Look, I forgot what it was. Oh, I remember. I made phone calls, I tried, I know the alderman, Osterman, myself, I called. It was the sidewalk and all that stuff going on out here. You remember that? Yeah. And I said, I can't even do anything else. You remember what I did? Do you remember? I put the alderman's information and his phone number on the TV. And I said, I need a favor and I need help. Can you start making phone calls? Once you guys started making phone calls, that's when something happened. You're the constituents. You think, oh, he's the guy in the suit. They don't listen to me. I'm one guy. I will make it known, I'll share. But what I need from you guys is to all of you, share the phone number to the alderman's office, call that 311 city number, and start putting all those calls on record. 100 phone calls is much more powerful than one. And after you keep calling, guess what they have to do? They have to stop the phone from ringing somehow. Right? So I'm asking you, I will do what I can and I'll call, and her name is Gigi in the alderman's office. I'll call her too. But if you guys can possibly just look it up. Actually, Molly, can you put up his name again and all his information on there? She's going to put it up on the TV. So what you want to do is, all of you, start making those phone calls. Start calling the alderman's office. Let your neighbors know. What are you calling about? You're calling about all the homeless people that are at Lincoln Park south of your property. And as a senior, walking the walking path, I'm concerned. I don't feel safe. That's all you say. But we need everyone to call. There's power in numbers. Does that make sense? That's how we got the sidewalk fixed, finally, over going to Mariano's. So that's what we can do together, all of us calling, and I'll follow up at least once a week with them. The other one is you have visitors coming. Senator, the dreadlock guy. Yeah, he's coming. He did come. I missed it. Did you tell him about that? I wish we would have talked prior to that, because State Senator Simmons, obviously, he has some relationships and phone calls he can make, and he was here. So I wish we would have talked to him. Yes?
Well, my sense of it is if homeless people have some of those nice tents over there, they're they have to have someplace to, I'm not gonna call any alderman to complain about homeless people, they have enough problems.
That's a decision that personally you guys have to make. You know, we all have a different approach on things, a different place where we stand. We have a lot of folks right now that are struggling. Reasons behind it, I don't judge. I'm not going to guess. I'm not going to assume. I'm just, you know, giving you the information that'll help you get the results you wish. Hopefully it'll work. If not, I don't know.
Just one more thing, if I may, and that is, kind of address that as well, is that what will happen if this proceeds is that these homes that I was talking about around here that you bought for $500 or $1 million are going to be worth $250 and maybe $400. What happens then? The taxes are less. What runs this city and is the taxes. So
he's concerned about the future impact on the community, its value, home ownership, all that. It's real. It's real. For me, myself, I think, you know, I'm very comfortable for me. And I see where he's coming from. With everything I have on my plate, I barely can see outside my gates. So for me, as long as you guys are COVID-free, everyone here is safe, and they stay on the other side of that fence, I'm okay with it. I have to try to focus on, you know, what's going on. You asked about the booster shot. I check every day. Why? Because Christina talks to certain people, and the minute they give us the green light, we want to pull the trigger and make, you know, the arrangements. Because what's going to happen is everybody else is going to be doing the same thing we're doing. And we don't want to be a day late. So the sooner that we know, we pay attention. So with everything I have, you know, future real estate values, I don't know. The breakers will be here long after all of us, and we're fine, and we're safe, and so I'll make the phone call. But again, there's a, I guess you can say, an empathetic thought process behind making the phone call about others. Please just be understanding. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if this is the correct moment to do this, but I would just like to pay homage to the excellence of the service delivery here,
Thanks.
the integrity and the care of Roger, certainly all of your staff.
Well, I appreciate that. She just wanted to say thank you, you know, for the care and just the service and the effort. Really, it's effort. We're all going to screw up or make mistakes, but it's effort. Thank you, guys. Look, on the last thing I have on here is that there's a change in therapy providers, Cimbria. They started today. During that process, we didn't share all the details because there were a lot of things we had to figure out. It's just a different provider. I know who they are. They've been around a long time. They're very qualified. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised at the level of service. They have it's called a navigator position, a person that's going to work at that desk over in therapy to communicate with you guys. And during the whole process, I only had one thing that mattered to me. I didn't care what the name of the company was. I just cared about people like Abby staying with us. That was it, because, and I said it in a meeting, and people thought I was kind of like, but I said it. I said, I don't care what your name is. I don't care what you want to call yourself. All that matters is who is the person touching me, and do they know the residents? Are the residents comfortable with these therapists? And thank you, Lord, they were able to have Abby and the other gentleman. What's his name? And Damon. We call him the Gentle Giant. We call him the Gentle Giant. So Damon will be staying. And effective today, Cimbria is over there right now. They have a lot to do, and Abby's going to be the therapy manager too. So it's not only a change, but a promotion for her. So I look forward to hearing from you guys how it's going and how our service is, and not much will change. You have the same people doing what they do back there. So that's pleasant. Yes, that's good news.
I went in there last week with two young gentlemen that are working for their corporation. They took all my, because I've been with Genesis, now I'm with, they are so organized. Made pictures of all my papers, and they're in the midst of redoing the schedules. We are not losing out on anything, we're gaining a lot. They're adding a
She was just sharing that her first experience last week with the new therapy provider was pleasant. She felt like they were very professional, very thorough, and she did find out they're adding an occupational therapist. He's already there. He's there today, this morning. I met him. So they're adding a therapist, and she felt that they were organized and professional. That's what I told you. They're very experienced. They know what they're doing, and they're going to bring in additional resources. So I hope you guys see the difference. They're going to be engaged with you, whether it's through programming, exercise, fitness stuff. That's what therapy is. Therapy is like exercise. So they're going to be engaged in many other ways that Genesis was not. And I'm hopeful that, you'll see all of the benefits of that. So I look forward to that look. Any more questions? I'm going to get out of here. We got our hour. We got our hour right there. Yes.
What is the name and spelling of the company, and what is its phone number, please?
Symbria, Symbria. I'm going to look it up for you real quick. It's the same number that Genesis had because they don't change. But I'll look it up. 773-516-4249. And that's the number straight to the office downstairs that you would call, okay? Or you can call our front desk and they can tell you what it is if you don't have it.
So they occupy the same physical space that,
Yes, same office, same space. Yes.
They'll go up to your
Yes.
apartment, or
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm changing the subject to the library.
Okay. She's changing the subject to the library.
We're ready now for the new bookcases that were promised us. We've moved books, we've moved the bookcases that were temporarily stored on that one wall. All I want to know is, when will we get the new shelves? So we can put the library back together again.
She has been working really, really hard on cleaning out the library a little bit and rearranging things because part of our remodel is that the bookcases in the library have to all match. They have to look tastefully. They have to, be coordinated, not just donated bookcases. I don't know. That's $1 million question right now. We're on calls every Thursday. We have every second Thursday, third Thursday. We talk on Thursdays. It's part of the major project. So the library, you guys have heard about this, the theater, the showroom, all of this is going to get new furniture and be redone. So I don't have a date and a specific date. That's all going to be taken care of and manufactured. Those bookcases are going to be manufactured.
Well, we've been hearing about all this new stuff that's going to come in for the past 2 months, but now we're actually physically ready. We've moved things out of the way.
I'll let you know. No problem. Yes.
Okay, this is a statement, not so much as a question, having to do with the tent cities or whatever you want to call it. First of all, I don't think that there are too many of those people who want to be stuck in that situation. And I think it comes down to, doing to others charity. I don't know what the solution would be, but maybe a little bit of, I don't want to get religious or even whatever. Kind of all.
He's touching on, the tent city or whatever we want to call it. Just be kind. No one there wants to be there, and he didn't want to get religious on you, but just pray for people, and hopefully when we do call people, that's their job, is to get supportive services involved, engage folks in, what their needs are, to try to get them out of the situation. Nobody wants to be there. So he's just asking that you take that approach when you talk about that situation. This will be the last question because half of them have left, and we got to get going. Go ahead.
Well, it's somewhat of a counter argument here. The tent, there's a lot of people who have, they're middle class, basically like park is somewhere where that's my way to walk. Now, what the tent cities are, a lot of times these, you know, they're, right now, there's more out there, there's no other option for them. But it's also because they rejected society help, and it's a land grant type of thing. So it's, I don't think they're specifically dangerous, but it is unhealthy, and it is taking space away from the walk. Like at one time, they were where those people had put in those beautiful tile things on the underpasses. Well, they put all their tents there. They blocked that. They also blocked the sidewalk, so people coming in with children couldn't get to the park. They, you know.
She's again,
So,
she's touching on the homelessness, and she just made a valid point.
It's a society problem, but it is, you shouldn't accept them being antisocial.
She's touching on some points on her perspective of
But I
that
do
population.
wanna-
But the other point she touched on right now is when they're asked to relocate or move, they just go and I've seen it, where they'll relocate from here, they'll relocate somewhere else, or you'll ask them to move from that location. So again, getting them the help, the supportive services they need, that's where all these entities come in. Call your alderman. If you're still concerned, and I understand why, I get it. Call your alderman's office, call 311, let them know, and hopefully they'll relocate or they'll ask them to. Again, we're not going to solve the problem, and there are some challenges with that whole situation. I get it. If that's your feeling as an individual who lives in this community, you have a right to complain. Make the phone call, okay? And I'll let them know what's going on and what you've shared with me and see how they can help us with that. On that note,